What's up, YouTube? This is Jay, and I'm here for the motivation of the day. And first things first, what I want to know is when is anything considered a failure? When is it? We go through trial and tribulations in different endeavors in our life where we choose to, go down this road or that road. Um, and sometimes it could be, hey, you're chasing something that they at a certain age you just don't fit that certain criteria no matter what your skill set you know and it's shockingly it's not just in certain avenues like like sports, because you could be just a supervisor or a manager, right? And they could tell you that you have too much experience, you qualified. And it's almost like you're overqualified and you met the criteria and you tried to meet it with sometimes the highest standards. You and because then the door gets shut in your face. How many times do we want the door to continue to get shut in our face? Is it a failure? You got so many degrees and so many hours of study and so much experience in this and so much knowledge, and we keep running in situations where people keep telling us no, no, no. But when is it considered to be a failure? In my opinion is, and this is what I live by, it's a failure when you stop choosing to put energy in that. When you just really just shut it to the side and say, you know what, I ain't gonna do it no more. I don't. Or you just not even sometimes not even say I ain't gonna do it no more. But you didn't do it. You woke up, you did it yesterday, and you didn't do it today. You put it off. I'm gonna do it later on. Later on came and went. Okay, and then it just a continued cycle of not actually putting energy into that goal that you have for yourself. We all in life we have different goals for ourselves, and we have to make and keep those goals alive. We have to keep that flame that we had, that mindset that we had, that before we told somebody and that person told us that it was too late or you too old, or in some type of way or shape or form they was that dream killer that we had. We have to harness that happiness and that energy which we pursue that dream or that goal. And we have to harness that mindset, because a lot of times that's that happy place. That's that safe place for us. That's that place where it was like we can see that advancement in life. And with no energy put towards that, with no belief, and it starts with on the inside, man. Most times what I figured out in life, what I told people about my plans, what I chose, what I would love to do in life, and they didn't have the same vision that I had. They could say things that could actually be in a way or shape or form a dream killer, because it wasn't what I was looking for. It wasn't the energy that I needed. All energy is not the energy that I need. I don't really care to hear everything. A lot of times what I need, you may not be willing to give. So I can't give you that energy. I'm not looking to give anyone that energy to really kill my dream, because it requires a lot to actually even get to that point of even wanting to do better in life, even seeing that and believing in yourself that you can do it, and getting to that point of understanding like, hey, I have a a avenue in which that could change my outlook, could change my views when I look out my curtains, could change, the way I dress, or could change the way I ride, could change the way that my bank account look. And and ultimately those are the thoughts that we need to continue to actually, be prosperous in life, and be able to uh be that person that we actually desire to be. And w- I'm gonna get into some things that, me myself personally, that I look to achieve, and I'm gonna say that I look to stay conscious of myself on a day-to-day goal, on a day-to-day basis. And that requires, first and foremost, I have to remind myself of this. I have to damn near eat, sleep, and urine this. I have to really harness this energy. That's why it's not for everybody. I can't sit right here and tell somebody, or tell the wrong person, and I don't really know who the right or the wrong person is gonna be. Let's let my motivation start with me. Let's let my motivation start with me. And if a person see what I'm on, and they decide to come our way, then let me acknowledge that then. But I'm gonna let my motivation start with me, because I want to be in control of my life. I don't want someone else to be in control of my life by telling me, "Hey, yeah, it even sound good." I believe in myself enough where I know it sound good. I appreciate it. But if I don't acknowledge what sounds good, if I don't know what looks good, if I'm only just looking for someone else's opinion, then that's what someone else really truly thinks. That's not what I really think. That's not what I really believe in. So first and foremost, let's take control of my own life, and let's get to some things that I have on my bucket list. I haven't heard anyone say that term, and it's been quite some time. You know, having a bucket list. We got New Year's resolutions, and you know how that go. But I try to stick to mine, because I always make my New Year's resolution before New Year's. So um I think I do a pretty good job of doing that. But some things that I have on my bucket list, um I have I need to actually start to speak how I feel, truthfully, thoughtfully, no beating around the bush. And it is what it is. The first time when someone asks me a question, I would like to, my goal is to, the first time. So that's going to require thought. That's going to require for me to have patience. Um, and actually what I'm actually going to respond with. Sometimes it's good to actually just kind of, maybe not respond with your first thought, because a lot of time your first thought could be you know a little too much. Because a lot of times too, like just saying what I want to say, that this doesn't mean just kind of give it to somebody raw. No, it's a way to say everything you got to say. It's a way to say everything. And I appreciate everybody who's stopping by. I'm reading the comments. I appreciate y'all. I see you, Crystal. I appreciate you. Netbone, holla at me. We're gonna still lock in, man. We're gonna do what we got to do. But so, and that's just okay. That's my first aspect. Actually, just being able to speak and say what I got to say, and don't worry about really it to a sense on how someone else feel about what I got going on with myself. You know, um, and I got to start holding myself accountable to the things that I said that I want to do for myself. We like to hold people accountable to things that we ask them to do. I get held accountable for if I open up my mouth, and I agree to do something, I'm gonna get held accountable to that, and that's just the way of life. But a lot of times, if I take a accountability and I'm just an accountable person, and someone else don't, that could actually, that could cause thoughts of negativity, let's just say that. And for me, I look at it like, if if I'm a hold myself accountable, and if I ask you to do something for me, and you don't do it, then I feel like I have the right to, maybe express that. And it shouldn't be a misunderstanding, because now, if I'm not holding myself accountable, if I'm not doing the things that I said I'm supposed to do for myself, and then you not doing it for me, then hell, how can I hold you accountable and I'm not even doing the things that I say I want to do? But if I say I'm gonna do what if I'm doing what I say I'm gonna do for myself, and you would like to help me, or if I ask you to help me out with something, then I'm going to expect that. And I think that well, no, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, because, well, what I was going to say was that, maybe that's why a lot of times people expectations of individuals is so demanding, because they actually do the things they say they're going to do for themselves. But as we see in society, a lot of times that's really not the case. So, back to, just actually holding myself accountable, and holding myself accountable is, I'm gonna actually make sure I spend purposeful time, with my kids. I don't have my kids a lot. When I do have them, I know they into sports and gaming. Um, of course they in school, so I always, make sure we're gonna go to the park, and we're gonna throw the football around, and I'm gonna play the video games with them, and I'm gonna make sure I do things as far as, spend time with them and let them, hey, come in here and cook with me. Let's go learn how to clean up. Making sure that, they stay on top of actually what they're responsible of, and letting them know that, hey, it's not any type of punishment that for you being responsible for your work, because I have to be responsible for my work. And sometimes we need a little motivation, like, to actually to do the things that we say that we're going to do. It's nice to have somebody to, remind you, but it's even better when we can just get up off our own, or stand up on our own too, and just go ahead and do what we say we're going to do. So, um, another thing I say I'm gonna do is, I'm in search of, and I'm every day I wake up and I go to work to get my warm air license. I'm into refrigeration, and it's a process to that. If anybody want to know, like, it's not like you could just go to school and get your degree and obtain this. You actually have to go to school, then you have to work for a company for, 5 to 7 years, whatever may have you. um and just in our society, depending on how you got in the game, and when you learn that information is very key and very vital, because I was in business for about 12 years, and just because of how I got into business, I didn't really have any direction. I just had experience, and experience with no direction, you could be you can get stuck. You can have a ceiling. So, um, what I did, I figured out what it took. Everybody always, a lot of different people kept telling me to get my license, to get my license. And I just did what it take. I just asked questions. I asked people, are you licensed? When I went to the air conditioning store, or when I seen somebody on the same job and I asked them questions, what do it take? How did you do this? And they'll tell me, hey, I took this route. This is what I did. And once I asked so many people and I kept getting the same answer, then I know that's the route that I needed to take if I'm serious about it. And it wasn't just right off, but I had to, you know, get up on my own too again and actually take that route because it from the outlook on it, immediately, yes, I'm losing money. To go from working my own job to actually now working for someone else, I'm losing money immediately. And but it's the sacrifice at the, at the end of my journey, at the end of my goal. The money is going to be there. The money is going to come, and it's going to come like 10 times fold, but I have to stay down. And it's even more difficult for me because I've already pretty much did everything that it is to do other than have this paperwork. But now I have to have my mind in the right place to actually understand, like, hey, if I'm gonna do it, especially at the age I am, I had to go ahead and buckle down. And that's why I still wake up every day and actually go to work and to actually learn, not to go with the mindset like I know everything. I go with the mindset I need to show up early, like I don't know anything. I go with that humble mindset, and I know how to keep my mouth closed. I know when to speak. You know, it's not trying to just go in there ever overstep someone's toes or even let someone come in and think they're gonna overstep my toes. It's actually just knowing when to speak and just say what I need to say and be done with it. Okay, so that's one of my biggest goals. That's another goal and that I've had for a long, long time. Like this is I don't really like to switch up. Like when I say when I'm gonna do something, I hold myself accountable to it. I hold myself accountable to it. You know, another thing that I would like to do too, um, I would like to speak positivity. I would like to speak life into people because and maybe not try to say too much. Even once they give me a little rebuttal, you know, just give them a little life and just let that marinate with them. I always think of some type of possible way that the solution could turn out favorable for them because it's so easy for us just to or for my thoughts to go in such a way, especially by judging anybody. My thoughts are very judgmental. I don't know about everyone else's, but my thoughts are very judgmental. So it's easy to just be judgmental. But I'm gonna be purposeful of speaking life into a situation and always thinking positive. You know about things. Let's me not be the dream killer. That'll be a detriment to what I'm trying to accomplish. And I learned too. I've been through a lot. I've had a lot of good happen for me in life. I've had things that a lot of people wouldn't want to happen to them. Um, and the thing about me was, I've had I had I've had a great surrounding cast, I would say, my whole life. But when that surrounding cast, or is not really giving you what you would, desire, they're giving you what they could, afford to give you. It's that misunderstanding. But when I was in situations where that calls for seclusion, I understood. It seemed like immediately, like, how to, or what side I needed to be on. I wanted to go back on that side where I was getting privilege at. I didn't care about trying to be over here where it was no privilege, or it's difficult. I hate difficulty, So in times where when life wasn't so good for me, I always use that as a lesson. It's never that life is so bad and why is it happened to me, but this is a lesson, because I know if I don't learn from what I just did, I'd be right back where I was. And it's almost like, well, and you ain't gonna be there forever. It's like you gonna have to get out. So, but you can end up back in there. Then you end up back in there. And I don't want to play that game. So everything is a lesson for me, no matter what it is. And everything that I'm looking to achieve for myself, why give up? I already accept the fact that I'm gonna get older. I already accept the fact. So I just have to do more for myself. You know, I just gotta be more motivated. And it's not, and as I'm seeing, as I wake up every day, it's not easy. As my life, things begin to pile on and pile on, it's not easy. It's not. Something new is happens every day. So for me, just actually, hey, here we go once again. You got to think back positive. You got to go back positive. And what kind of way can I see it out? It got to be a way out. It's always a way out. It's always a way out. It's always a way to fix it. It's always. So I think I owe it to myself at this point, if I've had a lot of failures. I've told myself that, I'm gonna do certain things, and I didn't, and I stopped putting energy in it. And as I look back on it, and I know if I just kept putting energy in it, I could have achieved that. I could have had exactly what I was in search of. And I understand now that I must have mental toughness to be able to acquire what I desire. I must have that mental toughness, you know. And I know I still have a long way to go. That's why I still have to get up, and I still have to work out. I still have to, work late. I still have to wake up early every day. I still have to do everything that it requires to actually even still just look a certain way. So when I get to what I desire, I can still be, attractive in such a way. You know, I appreciate you, Crystal. I just read your comment. I appreciate you. I got to keep it going. And who was that right there? Miss GP is going places. I appreciate you, Miss GP, or GP, Mr. GP. Um, but in life, y'all, we got to still realize, man, we got a long way to go. Because every day it's gonna present something new. It's gonna present some type of way that it's like the easy way out. Let's go ahead and be lazy. Let's go ahead and not do what we said we're gonna do for ourselves. Let's not cook. It's easy to just take the easy route out. Let's not clean up. Let's just leave that. whatever sitting right there. Let's not read a book. I challenge myself to read 30 minutes a day. I'm not gonna and I got to get back on that. I challenge myself to be fluent in Spanish, and I have to get back on it. I still pay for the apps. I got several books, and um so and that's another thing, because when traveling, being able to speak that language, or even understand it, like I don't need to speak to everyone, but just being able to understand it will help me just have a better peace of mind. So that's a goal of mine, to be able to speak Spanish. I got Duolingo. I think they charge me. I don't. It don't matter what they charge me, but I have that. And I have books that I find interesting, that's easy for me to read. Because I'm very interested in it. And the text keeps me drawn in. So um I find it easy for me, just in the morning. In the morning times, if I can get everything out the way, I wake up in the morning. I start about any and I'm up usually probably between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. My alarm go off at 5, but I usually beat that up, and I get right to work. I've noticed that I can stay with my working out. I know I can stay with that. But I got to be able to actually get back in, and I got to read, and I got to work on my Spanish. Even with the Spanish is for we have a huge Latino community that, being able to speak their language, they will allow me to come in their house to do business. They will be able to allow me to go in their place of business to do business. And that's just being able to be bilingual will put me in a different lane than just a normal guy who have the same paperwork that I have. I'm always looking to have an edge. I got to have the edge. you know um and that's another reason why I work on myself, because I understand what's gonna make me different from the next guy. I'm no different from these other guys or other ladies that have the same paperwork, that have even more experience. What's gonna set me apart once I get that? What's gonna be the difference then? So I got to go ahead and make sure I go ahead and stay on top of that every day, because that's me coming on here speaking about Motivation Monday. That helped me just realize, like, hey, I got to be more serious about it, because once that opportunity come or presents itself, I don't want to still be trying to play catch up. Take the time that I have and use it wisely. Take the time that we have and use it wisely. Even making these videos, it's easy to just say that, hey, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And I really pat myself on my back today, honestly, for even getting up here and shooting this video and making this video. Is one of my goals to actually, get on YouTube and have some subscribers and be able to have some traffic, and have people to actually listen to me, you know, to find my message valuable. That's what it's really about, to actually bring value to people's lives. It's a lot of different things that we can choose to put in our mind, but is it anything of value? So I really hope that I was able to bring some value to you guys, and you guys, y'all could use it in some type of way. And please like, share, subscribe, stay in the chat for me. Um and actually just remember, man, you owe it to yourself too. It's not a matter of doing nothing in particular. It's a matter of doing what you decide that you would like to do for you. No matter how it appeases anyone else, no matter what I like, it's not, what my son have going on. It's not for me to like. These are my son goals. This is my son. How this is, and I have to respect him for that. I have to respect anyone. This is their. This is how they have. This is how they chose to go about their situation. So I just go. I just give them that respect, and you give yourself that respect, and just at least find something that you can do for yourself. Be truthful to yourself. Okay. Make sure you eat good. Drink some water today. Eat some ice if you don't want to drink. If you're gonna make some excuses, pick one thing up, pick an item up, and throw some trash away. You know, even I can even go outside and maybe even pick up some trash that's lingering around my damn front door. You know, so in every type of way, man, let's just make this thing a better place in some type of way. Remember, let's just speak some positivity in people, man. Let's speak life into them. Let's give life. It's gonna come back, and continue to be positive and thoughtful with yourself. Always believe in yourself. All right. And once again, I'm gonna try to go live. Let me see. Let's try to go live maybe 3 or 4 days out this week, y'all. Maybe every day. It don't take long. Let's challenge myself to go live every day. If I can go live for 30, 45 minutes, that'll be cool, right? And today was Motivation Monday, so I hope you guys got some type of motivation out of it. And once again, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'm out, and I appreciate y'all for stopping by.